The scorching sun blazed over the endless savannah, where dry winds brushed across the yellow grass. An old lion staggered forward, his once golden mane now faded and dull, every step echoing the weight of age. Once feared as the king of this land, today his ribs showed through his weak frame, hunger gnawing at his body. His breaths grew heavy, his eyes clouded with exhaustion. Above, dark shadows circled slowly, 7 black jungle eagles, their piercing cries slicing through the still air. Their sharp eyes locked on the lion's frailty, sensing opportunity. The old king raised his head, trying to summon one last roar, but his voice cracked into silence. With trembling legs, he collapsed into the dust, defenseless. The sky above the savannah darkened with swift-moving wings. 7 black jungle eagles circled lower and lower, their sharp cries echoing like whistles of doom across the open plains. Their feathers glistened under the blazing sun, talons extended in anticipation of the kill. The old lion blinked slowly, dust clinging to his face, his vision blurred but still aware of the threat above. For a moment, he lay motionless, his chest barely rising. Yet deep within, a spark of pride remained, the memory of battles once won, of hunts once led. With trembling legs, he pushed against the dry earth, forcing himself upright. His mane stirred weakly in the hot wind as he faced the circling hunters, refusing surrender. With a sudden shriek, the first eagle broke from the circle, diving like a black arrow. Its claws slashed across the lion's head, leaving a streak of blood above his brow. The old king snarled in pain, his voice hoarse yet defiant. Before he could recover, another eagle swooped from behind, talons ripping into his back. Dust erupted as the lion staggered forward, the weight of age pressing against every bone. His knees shook, but he planted his paws firmly, growling deep from his chest. The savannah trembled with the clash, the eagle wings beating furiously, the lion's roar cracking through the hot air. Though weakened and wounded, he refused to collapse. Every breath, every strike, was a fight for his dignity. The sky erupted with furious cries as the remaining eagles dove together, surrounding the lion from every side. Their massive wings beat the air like war drums, filling the savannah with chaos. Dust swirled around them, cloaking the battlefield in a choking haze. The old lion swung his paws, claws flashing, but his movements were slow, each strike drained by age and hunger. One eagle raked its talons across his shoulder, another tore at his flank. Blood streaked his mane, dripping onto the dry earth. Still, his eyes burned with defiance, a king unwilling to kneel. Yet the circle tightened, the beating wings and relentless strikes overwhelming him, threatening to crush the last fragments of his strength. The old lion's body trembled, his legs giving way at last. With a heavy thud, he collapsed flat onto the scorching dirt, dust rising around him like a final curtain. His mane, once a crown of pride, now lay tangled in blood and sweat. His eyes half closed, breaths shallow, each exhale weaker than the last. Above him, the eagles shrieked in triumph, their shadows crawling across his fading body. They circled lower, wings slicing the air, preparing for the final strike. The vast savannah held its breath, silent, still, broken only by the piercing cries of the hunters and the faint rasp of the dying king. Far across the golden plains, a white ranger truck crawled slowly along the dirt track, its tires crunching over dry stones. Inside, 2 rangers scanned the horizon, the heat shimmering like waves before their eyes. Suddenly, one of them lifted his binoculars, narrowing his gaze at a restless flurry of black wings rising and falling in one spot. His breath caught, 7 jungle eagles, diving and striking at something pinned to the earth. He focused harder, and his heart jolted. "It's a lion," he whispered, stunned. An old lion, battered and collapsing under the merciless attack. His partner's face hardened with urgency. Without hesitation, he reached for the rescue gear, determination burning in his eyes. The engine roared as the truck shot forward, bouncing violently across thorny grass and cracked earth. Dust clouds rose behind them, swallowed instantly by the burning wind. Inside, the rangers gripped the seats tightly, hearts pounding with urgency. Every bump threatened to throw them off course, but they pressed harder on the accelerator. Ahead, the black swarm of eagles grew clearer, their wings slicing the sky above the helpless lion. Time was slipping away. One more minute and it could be too late. Determination fueled every second of the desperate race to reach him alive. The truck skidded to a halt, tires grinding the dry soil. In seconds, the rangers leapt out, their voices echoing in fierce shouts. A flare gun cracked, its red streak slicing the sky, bursting into sparks above the savannah. The jungle eagles shrieked angrily, scattering upward in a violent spiral of wings, yet not all retreated. Two swooped low, striking again at the motionless lion, claws raking his mane. The rescuers advanced, hearts racing, torn between instinctive fear of the predators and their duty to save the fallen king. Raising sticks and clashing metal, they drove forward step by step, pushing the circle of death back. The battle was no longer lion versus eagles, it was courage versus fear. The rangers carefully lifted the battered lion onto a stretcher and rushed him to the Wild Care Center. Inside the clinic, veterinarians moved quickly, their gloves stained with blood as they cleaned deep wounds and flushed away dirt. Fluids dripped steadily through tubes, bringing life back to the old king's veins. Stitches sealed torn flesh while soothing medicine calmed his breathing. 4 days, he lay under strict observation, every heartbeat monitored, every movement noted. Slowly, his eyes opened wider, his chest rose stronger, and the fire of survival flickered once again. The lion, though scarred, was fighting his way back to strength. When the lion's strength finally returned, the rangers arranged his transfer to an animal care old zoo, a sanctuary built for creatures who could no longer survive the wild. Here, tall fences protected him from predators, and caretakers brought fresh meat and cool water each day. No longer forced to fight for survival, the old king rested beneath the shade of trees, his scars a reminder of battles endured. Children and visitors watched quietly, honoring the lion's story of survival. Though his days of ruling the savannah were over, his dignity remained untouched. In this safe haven, he lived peacefully, his roar softer, but his spirit forever remembered as the king who refused to surrender.